Hi everyone, this is Client Services Kelsey from Home of Hope Cancer Wellness Center, and I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit today about COVID and cancer and some of the legal and financial resources that go along with that. So I just wanted to go over a financial overview. Treating cancer is very expensive, even for those who have good health insurance. Even the best insurance out there does not cover 100% of the costs. Financial toxicity is a kind of financial distress that is related to the cost of treatment, which impacts people with cancer. The term is used to describe how out-of-pocket costs can cause financial problems for a cancer patient. And financial toxicity is often caused by out-of-pocket costs, hidden costs, and loss of income. So an example of an out-of-pocket cost would be additional medications that you'd have to pay for. An example of hidden costs would be like transportation, parking, and housing. And loss of income could be like temporarily or permanently unable to work, working shorter work weeks, or taking time off for treatment. And financial toxicity has become a more intense issue during the COVID-19 pandemic. A great deal of people have lost their jobs or their work hours because of the pandemic. This has also caused a lot of people to lose their health insurance. Others with cancer have actually chosen to not return to work because they are immunocompromised. So I just wanted to go over some COVID-19 and financial aid resources we have out there. The first one we have is the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, and that does expire in December. So if this is interesting for you and you think you might be able to qualify for it, please get on it right away. So this act provides 2 weeks worth of full pay, and it's paid sick leave for employees who cannot work because of COVID-19. The following reasons are needed to qualify. The first one would be the government has ordered quarantine. The second would be if the doctor ordered you to self-quarantine. And the third one would be if you have experienced symptoms of COVID. So just a little side note here, this applies for private employees and with less than 500 employees and certain public employers. You must have worked for at least a year, which means that is 1,250 hours within the last 12 months. Those who have been laid off are actually not entitled to this aid. The other one would be the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act. And again, this one expires in December. So if you want to apply, act quickly. This act provides paid sick leave for 2/3 pay to employees who cannot work because of the following reasons due to COVID-19. The first one would be you are a caregiver for a person who has been quarantined due to COVID-19. The second would be that you are caring for a child whose school or other child care facility has closed down due to COVID-19, or you are experiencing a similar condition specified by the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And just a side note here, those who are caring for a child may actually be eligible for additional 10 weeks of paid leave. So another one that is going on right now is the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation. This provides an additional 13 weeks of unemployment for those who have exhausted their benefits. And again, this expires in December. And then there's also the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and this is for people who are self-employed, seeking part-time employment, or do not qualify for the regular unemployment compensation. So a note for that is to qualify for the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, one cannot be eligible for regular unemployment benefits. One must be unemployed, partially unemployed, or unable to work due to a specific health or economic consequence of COVID-19. And again, this also expires in December. So here I've added a bunch of resources for you. I'll go a little slow in case you want to write some down, but you are also welcome to pause this video at any time to jot some notes down. Right here, I'm just giving you additional COVID-19 resources that just give more information that you might find valuable. Okay, so let's talk about health insurance navigation. Unfortunately, it is solely the patient's responsibility to understand their insurance coverage, network, and cost-sharing policies. So get familiar with your policy. Note, it is always helpful to contact your insurance case manager. Check with your insurance policy to see if they offer a case manager. And similarly, it is always a good idea to seek help and resources from the hospital's nurse navigator or social worker. So just some pro tips for you guys. Always talk with your providers. Take notes when talking to your doctor, case manager, or social worker. If you cannot afford the treatments or prescriptions that the provider is recommending, then your provider needs to know. They cannot help or recommend less expensive options if they do not know that your situation. Be sure to open all mail. Billing mistakes do happen, so check all your bills. Keep a record of dates, times, names, and extension numbers, and keep your pre-authorizations. So maybe you need health insurance still. These are some options for you. The first one is obviously the employer-sponsored coverage. So this one obviously comes with having a job that offers insurance. The second one is COBRA, and that's an expensive option if you're leaving your job or if you have just lost your job. There's obviously the state marketplace out there, and then there's Medicaid and Medicare, which that last one is for people who are 65 years old or older or have been on SSDI for 24 months. And then there's private insurance, which is often an expensive option. There's Hilberton, and then there's the hospital-based financial assistance. So in order to get this, contact your hospital social worker or case manager for more information. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of some Hilberton facilities healthcare in the area. So I listed some hospitals in the area here in Illinois that are obligated to provide free or reduced cost health insurance. And I want to just point you guys to these ones on the right. The first one right here is for Decatur, and the one down here is for Rockford. So for our area here in the Dixon area, Rockford or Decatur would probably be the closest ones to go to. The rest over here are all located in the Chicagoland area. So prescription drug coverage. Copays are expensive, especially for new therapies that do not have a generic equivalent yet. It is common for cancer patients to not take their prescriptions as recommended as a way to save money on copayments, which this can obviously have a lot of negative consequences. Oftentimes, prescription medications may not be covered by one's insurance. So I just want to give you guys some additional options you have out there. There's discount pharmacies, coupons, and cash price. So an example of that would be like GoodRx or the RX card. Sometimes the standard cash price is actually cheaper than what it costs with insurance. And then there's always a mail order as well, which may be a cheaper way to get some medications. And then there's appeals and petition for exemption. So health insurance appeals. So patients can appeal denials, insufficient coverage, reduction in benefit, failure to provide for a covered benefit, and always make that appeal in writing unless it is really urgent. Even if this initial internal appeal is denied, you can still request an external review. And you can do this with Medicaid by contacting the state Medicaid agency or Medicare by contacting SHIP. So job protection, the FMLA offers unpaid medical leave. If you have worked for a public or private employer of 50 or more employees within a 75-mile radius for 12 months or 1,250 hours, you could be eligible to take up to 12 weeks of a job protected medical leave. Thus, you will be able to keep your same job and benefits when you go back to work. And then there's the ADA, anti-discrimination. Cancer patients are potentially protected by anti-discrimination protection laws. It protects people from discrimination from public or private employers with 15 or more employees. And some just little additional notes on that. Even when the COVID-19 protections expire, these ones that I just recently talked about will still be available. Just because your job will be protected with these, that does not mean that they will be paid time off though. In a lot of cases, job protection is the single most important factor to prevent financial toxicity. Each state may have their own individual additional protections. It is important to know your rights early on and ask your doctor to make a note of any accommodations you think you may need for work. So income replacement. So SSDI and SSI, you can actually go to their website and you can log in to see your eligibility. SSDI is based on work history. So chances are if you have had a job, you have already paid into this. And then SSI is based on limited income and resources. And the qualification for that is based off of your income. So there's also compassionate allowances. You must be unable to work for at least 12 months or have a terminal illness. The approval process can take months, so having a cancer also does not mean you have automatic approval though. There's also state disability insurance. This is only available in a few states, and from what it looks like right now, Illinois does not offer this, but I included it here in case we have some clients that have recently moved out of state. And then there's private disability insurance. That does pre-existing condition denials, and definition of disability varies for that. A type of insurance, this is basically just a type of insurance that you would buy on your own or through a private company or broker, and one you'd get through your job. So review all of your medical bills. Contact creditor billing department to confirm that to confirm to your insurance that it was actually billed. And then request a bill to be put on hold. Request detailed line item bill. That way you can see every single charge. And then review all the charges. Check for duplicates and upcoding, which basically means to see if you were charged more for the procedure than it was actually supposed to be. Compare rates, and then also negotiate or set up a payment plan. You can dispute that in writing, and then file the complaint with the department, and then get help. And there are billing advocates out there that are available. And then I just want to urge everyone to consider their financing options carefully. There are medical credit cards out there, and that is based on like your credit. It starts off with no or low interest financing, and then it has high interest after the term expires. There's also the lender financing loans, which are very similar. It normally starts off with no or low interest financing. It's partnered with lenders and increasingly offered at hospitals now. So for example of this, you may start off just having to pay 0 interest for 18 months, but then that price could skyrocket to 28% after the term expires. So for some, that may be impossible to pay off. So it is very important for one to do their own research before you sign. Having another person look it over for you is also very much recommended before you sign as well. And going into it, be skeptical, find out if there's any hidden terms, and if you do not understand it, do not sign it. If it sounds too good to be true, it is because it is. And again, I just want to urge everyone to talk to their provider. If they are recommending a financing option that you cannot afford, they may be able to offer you an alternative treatment that is covered by your insurance, or they may be able to work with you for cost sharing. And then remember, providers just want to guarantee that they'll get paid. So fundraising. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this today. It can be very good, but it can also have some negative side effects for some people. So one option that's fairly new out there is online fundraisers. A good thing about that is they can be widely shared. The recipient is not taxed for that, and it can be used for anyone in financial need. However, it may count as income for charitable programs. And some alternative options you may want to consider instead would be to ask for help paying your medical bills directly. And then always ask if in-kind donations count as income for charitable programs. Use caution again, like if you are receiving government benefits like SSI or Medicaid or charitable health insurance through the hospital where you receive your treatment, you should speak to someone about that. Speak to them who's familiar with the eligibility requirements for the program, and make sure that your cash gifts do not actually disqualify you from getting them. So consumer protection. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act is out there. And that federal law protects consumers from being harassed by debt collectors. And debt collectors are not the original creditors. So debt collectors are actually required to send you a written notice and disclose their identity. Debt collectors cannot threaten you or use violence or obscene language. They cannot make false threats of legal action. They cannot call you before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. They cannot sue you from a faraway venue, and they cannot harass consumers. So dealing with debt, if you're in debt right now, just learn about your debt. Check your credit report and ask for proof of what you owe. You can do this by asking the bill collector for more information. Ask for their name, their address, and ask to get more information about the debt in writing. Ask for a copy of your credit report and be wary of scammers. And then check about the statute of limitations for the debt that you owe, for both the debt collection and for the credit reporting. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to pay off a past due debt that is about to fall off your credit report. And then also always try to negotiate. Set up a payment plan or a lump sum. And if you owe the money but you cannot pay it, sometimes debt collectors will be sympathetic and they will offer for you to pay a reduced amount, especially if the debt is older. And then they may be more likely to reduce what you owe if you cannot pay it all off. And then always dispute the debt if you don't owe it and get that in writing. It is always better to deal with the hospital directly. Once it is set to the collectors, it is a negative mark on your credit. So debt collection lawsuits. Most creditors cannot garnish wages or bank accounts without suing the debtor and getting judgment on that first. Time limits do exist, and the statute of limitations may vary by state to state. Consumer Credit Protection Act is out there, and it limits wage garnishment to 25% of the individual's disposable earnings. So debt and family responsibilities. This can be a little scary in my opinion. Spouses can sometimes be liable for each other's medical debt. It's called like the doctrine of necessities, and that varies state by state. In the state of Illinois, both spouses are jointly liable for family expenses, including reasonable and necessary medical care. This can actually lead for a lot of couples to consider to not marry or to not get a divorce. This debt does not usually pass on to the next of kin unless they explicitly agree to take on those medical bills. However, parents of a minor do have to pay off their child's medical bills. And then I just want to urge everyone to please reach out to the CLRC for more information about your own specific situation. And this is the contact information for them. And then the CLRC is actually the Cancer Legal Resource Center. So here I provided their phone number, their fax number, and their email. And then on the bottom, you can type in www.cancerlegalresources.org. And the reason I have the second link there is because once you type the first one in, it'll actually shift to the second link. So just wanted to let you guys have a heads up about that. And then some more information. You can fill out an intake with the CLRC for personalized assistance. And again, I would really like to urge you all to do so. They can give you some more personalized information that may help you out. And you can also contact Home of Hope if you would like to get a copy of the CLRC's Patient Legal Handbook. We have them in English and we do have them in Spanish. And if you want the copy of that, you can email Daria, Summer, or myself. And you can always give us a call as well, or you can come pick it up. And I just wanted to let everybody know that I actually got all this information from the Cancer and COVID Legal Resources resources. And this is the picture of what the video will look like on YouTube. It's definitely going to be a lot longer than mine. This video is about 57 minutes long. And you can, if you wanted to watch it, you can type in Cancer LRC. And all of my information, again, came from that one video. So this is my whole reference point. And that video will go over everything in more detail. That's all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have a great day.